And now let's turn to developing news in the Colorado ski industry. There's a movement among ski instructors at Beaver Creek to unionize, and they were headed for a vote next week, but that's now been postponed. The instructors say they're not being paid a fair share. Watching this with great interest are workers at Vail, where one of the ski instructors has been leading a similar effort for fair wages. He has talked on the record for the first time with our reporter Mary McCarthy, even though he's chosen to keep his identity hidden for fear of losing his job. As Mary reports, the Fair Wages campaign has drawn a lot of attention to the Facebook page he set up.
The leader of the Fair Wages for Ski Instructors movement released this video in 2014.
Did I ever tell you about the difference between a ski instructor and a pizza?
Yes. A pizza can feed a family of 4.
The video, which has been viewed over 13,000 times, is a critique of the low wages Vail pays to its ski instructors in comparison to the high cost of a private lesson.
If you book it 48 hours in advance, it's $885 for an all-day private lesson. The instructor typically, it depends on their experience, but they could get anywhere from $70 to, $150 or a bit more before tip.
The walk-up rate is even higher, $960 a day plus $175 for a lift ticket. Yet instructors see just a fraction of that. The leader of Fair Wages says that as a certified, experienced part-time instructor, last year he took home about $16 an hour before taxes, or $104 for a full-day lesson, in a job in which he has to provide his own expensive gear, including skis.
The total pay structure with the low percentage of revenue that ultimately goes to the ski instructor is ultimately what's the most unfair part about it.
We requested an interview with Vail Resorts here at their corporate headquarters in Broomfield because we thought they'd like to tell their side of the story and that the public would be interested in hearing what they have to say. But despite several interview requests by telephone and in these emails, Vail Resorts told us, quote, they won't participate in this story. Vail Resorts' annual reports show that the revenues from their ski schools across the globe are growing rapidly every year, an average of 12.5% year to year over the past 5 years. Just last year, ski school revenue increased $16.8 million, or 15.3% compared to the previous year, with ski school revenue right here in Colorado increasing $5.5 million, or 6.4%. Meanwhile, ski instructors, like many workers in the Vail Valley, are barely getting by.
That's where I feel for the young guys. I mean, the young guys, they're rushing out of the locker room to get to their second job bussing tables or working as a bartender, and that's because the rule in the mountain towns is it's called a rule of 4. You have to have a combination of 4 roommates and 4 jobs. Total up your roommates and your jobs, and it has to equal 4. So 2 jobs and 2 roommates, and I'm not talking 2 roommates for a 3-bedroom place. I'm talking, 2 roommates in a single room.
The leader of Fair Wages is fired up, but even so, he's afraid of retaliation for speaking out.
Well, of course, they're a very powerful employer in the it's a company town. I mean, Vail Valley is a company town. And as a ski instructor, we have no job security. They can, we basically get let go at the end of every season and then get rehired at the beginning of the next season. We're at-will employees during the season, so they can let us go for any reason. They don't have to give us a reason. And they don't have to rehire us, the next season. I've been warned by some people. I originally, when I started this plan to come forward, I had a number of people contact me and say, hey, you better be careful. People who didn't know who I was, but they said, there were some other guys speaking up at Breckenridge, and lo and behold, they weren't back the next season.
Mary McCarthy joins me now for a few more details. Does the possibility of a union vote for the Beaver Creek instructors mean the Vail instructors would follow suit?
No, at this point, the leader of Fair Wages at Vail, who we saw in the report, is not in any way pushing to unionize. That's really not their mentality so far among the instructors at Vail, who, by the way, he's in no way a lone ranger. He has tons of support I saw via emails, via the Facebook page, and also among other instructors that I spoke to. They're hoping to continue to pressure Vail management to pay them better, pay them in a fair way, but no sort of union culture, union mentality there yet. Of course, if it succeeds at Beaver Creek, if they suddenly see their instructors next door at Beaver Creek getting paid better with better working conditions, we could certainly expect that to possibly happen down the line.
And you said there have been tweaks in the pay scale?
There have been small increases over the past couple of years as a result, they believe, of this pressure, but nothing dramatic, nothing certainly in line with what they're hoping for.
Now, pay raises are not exactly the only thing that they are concerned about.
That's right. The ski instructors said that certainly Vail is doing nothing illegal or even really unethical. A corporation is out to make a buck, and you do that by charging a high rate to the customer, as high as you can, and paying your workers what you can get away with paying them. They said that they're allowed to do that because Vail and other ski resorts in Colorado are basically granted a monopoly on the ski school industry. If you want to teach snowmobiling or rafting, for example, in our Rocky Mountains, you can set up a business and do that, get licensed, insured. You cannot do that in order to teach skiing and snowboarding. Only the resorts can do that. The resorts are, most of them, on national forest land that's been leased out to the resorts, and it's the U.S. Forest Service that has created these regulations. So what the ski instructors want is, they say they want the U.S. Forest Service to change their regulations to allow people who are certified, trained, to set up their own private businesses or to teach skiing privately. That would be good for them. The instructors would earn more. It would create competition, and it would be good for the consumer here in Colorado. Other people flying in, they wouldn't be charged nearly that much of a high rate. We asked the Forest Service for comment on that. We gave them about 10 days to give us an interview. They said no. They said they would comment on it at some point, but that right now they wouldn't respond to our deadline.
Now, quickly, there is one exception, and that is instructors who work where?
That's at Aspen, right here in Colorado. Instructors make significantly more, up to $70 an hour. They're happy, there's less turnover, and interestingly, private lessons at Aspen cost significantly less than they do at Vail.
Thank you very much, Mary McCarthy.